Morning, everyone. Today, we're going to take a walk through downtown Tampa and along the way, explore 7 of its historically most significant buildings. It's a Sunday morning, so the streets are pretty quiet here. Downtown Tampa is primarily a business district, so there's really not a lot of weekend activity here. So that's changed a little bit over the last couple of years. Like a lot of downtowns, it's implemented a rent-a-bike system. You can rent Lime bikes through Uber. It's not very far from Bayshore Boulevard, very good spot for biking. Right now we're looking down Franklin Street, one of the main thoroughfares for pedestrians, particularly during the week in Tampa. Currently on North Florida Avenue, one of the main thoroughfares that runs east-west in downtown Tampa. And we're gonna make a right on Tyler. front of us we see the Floridian Palace Hotel. This was one of the most significant landmarks in Tampa. It was built in 1926 and opened to the public in 1927. It has 19 floors and was Tampa's tallest building, not just back then, but up until 1966. Architecture's Renaissance Revival style. It was one of Tampa's places to be seen back in the days, and in the 30s, 40s, and 50s had many famous guests, including Babe Ruth, Gary Cooper, Bear Bryant, Charlton Heston, and Elvis. However, after some time, it fell into disrepair and became much less popular, and actually was converted to a shelter in the late 1960s and closed completely in 1989. However, it was reopened in 2005 with most of the original interior and exterior architecture and furnishing. We'll take a look and see if we can go inside. All right, we're inside the Floridian Hotel. It's undergoing renovations right now, so it's pretty empty, but everything is pretty old style as it's been advertised. So you see the very old style bar, similar as it may have looked back in the 1920s or 30s. And perhaps even more interesting in the lobby here is the very old style check-in desk. Has holes for, I guess, the keys where they would have been slotted back in the days before you had card keys, etc. Yeah, definitely a very retro style interior to this hotel. All right, we're back out of the hotel, back on Tyler. I'm going to go a block and make a left on Franklin. Franklin Street is one of the main pedestrian walkways. I believe during the weekdays, at least certain times, it is closed to traffic. Right now on a Sunday it's open, though there is no traffic, so I can walk in the middle of the street without any issue. And to our left, we're seeing the second historic building of this tour, which is the Kresge building, associated with Woolworths, which is a very popular retail store for much of the 20th century. Crest was a five and dime store. This was built in 1928. Like the Floridian we just saw, the hotel, the architecture of this store was also Renaissance Revival. It was closed in 1981, and amazingly, it's been vacant ever since. There's been several redevelopment plans falling through, and most recently an owner committed to preserving the building as is, as a historic monument. We'll continue on Franklin, crossing through Polk. It seems a lot of the streets here are named after presidents, or some are lesser known presidents like Tyler and Polk. We're now at building number 3 of our 7 significant building tour, which is the Tampa Theater. The Tampa Theater was opened in 1926. Seems like a lot of the buildings on our tour were opened around that time. It was the first commercial building in Tampa to have air conditioning, which is hard to imagine not having today. It's been used frequently as a backdrop for movies and music videos. This building was closed in 1973, but then it was scheduled for demolition to make space for more profitable corporate businesses, but people lobbied against it, and it reopened in 1978. So, good case of people making their voices heard. Let's see if we can get a closer look. Keeps the old style ticket booth. Okay, we're going to make a left off of Franklin to head back towards Florida. Okay, in front of me now is the former courthouse and post office. It was built in 1905. It was known as a U.S. Post Office, courthouse, and custom house. But now it's been converted to a Le Méridien Hotel. So this very historic, interesting architecture building is now a hotel. I think it's been a hotel since 2014 or so. Right now, across the street, we're taking a look at Sacred Heart Catholic Church. This was constructed also in 1905. I guess that year was some of the earlier waves of buildings, initial buildings here in downtown Tampa. It's Romanesque, uses Romanesque architecture. It actually replaced an older church that had been here since 1860 and was Tampa's first Catholic church back in 1860. So this was the new building. This one from 1931 to 2012 also operated a school in Tampa Heights on Florida Avenue near Robles Park, about 2 miles north of here. You can see my other video about Robles Park that references what happened in this very same school and actually some troubling accusations about the school. Let's see if it's open. It is Sunday. Maybe.
And endurance and hope of our Lord Jesus Christ before our God and Father, knowing, brothers and sisters loved by God, how you were chosen, for our gospel did not come to you in word alone, but also in power and in the Holy Spirit.
We're approaching the corner of Kennedy Boulevard and Florida Avenue. And across the street from us, we can see the Tampa City Hall, which is the sixth significant building on our tour. This building was built in 1915. You can see it has multiple layers, but at the top, it has a clock. It's a four-faced clock named Hortense the Clock, and it chimes every half hour around the clock. Now, this played an important role in business and commerce back in the day, when it was necessary for employees to know when to return from their lunch breaks, when it wasn't so accessible for every person to know the time. So it plays a significant role, and even though it's not so necessary, it still does that same half-hourly chimes today. It's named Hortense for the daughter of one of the benefactors behind the building back in 1915. There's Moxie's Cafe, a pretty good eatery if you haven't had a chance to try. Let's take a walk down the rest of Florida Street. And this segment is pedestrian only, even today on a Sunday. We're about to cross Jackson Street, another north-south road dedicated to another dead president. Not on our tour, not a historically old building, but one of the tallest buildings here in Tampa is the Tampa City Center. We're at the downtown Tampa Whiting Street trolley station. You can take these cable cars from here downtown to the Channelside district, as well as, I believe, Ybor City, which is another area very close by with lots of pubs and nightclubs. This plaza we've been walking through is called the William Poe Plaza. Apparently was mayor of Tampa from 1974 to 1979. Yeah, we're going to take a brief walk through a one-block park named Likes Gaslight Park. This park is very popular for office workers on their lunch breaks, particularly in the non-summer times of year when it's more pleasant to be outside in Florida. It's also known as a nighttime sleeping spot for a lot of the homeless that we've seen in downtown Tampa. Tampa's not totally dead on a weekend. This Ches Fabi breakfast spot has quite a bit of outdoor customers dining right now. In front of us, we see technically the seventh and final, though there may be a few more architecturally important buildings on this tour. It's called the Rivergate Tower. It's also known as the Sykes Building, or probably more notably the Beer Can Building, because this office building is literally round. Unlike the other buildings we've seen on this tour, this one was built in modern times in 1988. It has 31 floors. It's Tampa's 7th tallest building, though due to its shape, it's got to be the most interesting building in Tampa. It was intended to symbolize a lighthouse, and it's adjacent to the Hillsborough River, which we'll see towards the end of our tour here coming up. From architectural significance, it is made of limestone and is one of the tallest limestone-based buildings in the world. Up in front of us is the Hillsborough River. Hillsborough River cuts right through downtown Tampa, or I guess more precisely separates downtown Tampa from the University of Tampa on the other side, and then meanders north through Hillsborough County. There's a biking trail or path that goes from basically Harbor Island or close by to a little bit north of downtown Tampa. Directly across the river is what is currently the University of Tampa, and maybe our 8th or bonus significant building is what's currently the Plant Museum. So the University of Tampa that stands here today across the river was actually once a hotel. From 1891 to 1930, the fancy building we see was a high-end hotel called the Tampa Bay Hotel. It was built by Henry Plant, who was a railroad magnate who was credited with developing Florida. Lots of things in the state are named after him, not just in Tampa. The hotel had Tampa's first elevator, and that elevator actually still functions today. It also had Florida's first hotel electric lights and telephones. Had some famous guests. Teddy Roosevelt once stayed here, also Winston Churchill, and Babe Ruth, just like he stayed at the Floridian, so I guess he liked Tampa. Though the Great Depression in the 30s hit it hard, and it closed in 1930. But then in 1933, the University of Tampa, which is a private school, set up shop at this location, and the main campus remains here today. And that main building we see is the Henry Plant Museum and anchors the University of Tampa campus. Okay, still along the river. Right now we're entering Curtis Hickson Waterfront Park, which is an 8-acre park opened here in 2010. If you went back in time, like in the 1990s or early 2000s, downtown Tampa, other than Monday through Friday business, was pretty dead, either at night or during the weekends. But they've made a lot of enhancements over the past 15 to 20 years, including the development of this park. And it's been a central location for a lot of activities, July 4th fireworks shows, center for victory parades for either the Buccaneers or Lightnings after they won their championships. It's adjacent to many museums. You can see the Tampa Museum of Art. It's also very near the Straz Performing Arts Center. And basically it's played a large part in, I don't know if it's revitalizing or vitalizing, because I don't know if it ever had a heyday, but vitalizing downtown Tampa as a place to go for the people in the Hillsborough, Pinellas, Pasco County areas that it just had not been in the past. Ahead of us we see a canoe boat, perhaps the university crew team. What we're on is called the River Walk. It goes, I believe, roughly 2 miles, more or less, around downtown Tampa. This is a bust of Henry Plant. This river walk itself has only been here for probably 10 or so years. Another key aspect in vitalizing the downtown area and making it a point of interest to go even on people's leisure time. And it has a dog park. We're now on the other side of the Tampa Museum of Art. Also here along the river, we have the Straz Center for the Performing Arts. We have plays, comedy shows, and other forms of entertainment.
You know, it's New Jersey. I mean, you know.
Up ahead, I see something that I'm not familiar with called the Tampa River Center. I'm guessing something new that's built on the other side of the river from downtown, very close to the 275 highway. Perhaps you can rent boats there. I'm not sure. I'll have to look that up. I believe the river walk continues for about another mile or so from here, beyond or north of the downtown Tampa area. So we're going to cut right to remain downtown. Okay, up ahead is the Tampa Public Library, apparently named for John Germany. And here's the front entrance of the Tampa Public Library. Which is on Ashley Street, or North Ashley Drive. I'm going to end our tour with a semi-panoramic view of downtown Tampa and some of the sites we've already seen during this tour. The Gas Can Building, Curtis Hickson Park, Tampa Museum of Art. Up ahead, the Floridian Palace Hotel. And a general skyline view of downtown Tampa from the roof of the Post Garage, 5th floor. Anyway, hope you enjoyed the video. Please like and subscribe to my channel.